Facebook. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land. Unfortunately, we are not going to have our normal opening, but I might be able to make that work. Let me try it out. Let me see if I can get it.
That's not right. It's kind of invalid because we're not somewhere in Iowa.
We are not. We are in Illinois.
That's right.
So currently at a undisclosed location in Illinois.
So let's just go unplugged this week.
Yeah, we're going to go unplugged. So, Rich, how was your turkey day?
It was good.
Good. You get all stuffed with that tryptophan goodness?
Yeah, I did. It was
Okay.
good. It was good. Some good turkey, which leads us to our poll question of how do you like to prepare your turkey, or maybe even like how you like to have your turkey prepared.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of different for everybody, because they could like their turkey prepared one way, but how the family prepares it, or wherever you go for your Thanksgiving meal, can vary.
Yeah.
And, of course, we'll be talking the NFL this week, which is probably going to cover a big chunk of our show, as we're running out.
We have audio.
Good. It's always good to have. And, of course, some quick hits. Probably not much. So pretty light outline. So Mike, our poll question this week, as we kind of alluded to it, was how do you like to prepare your turkey, or have your turkey prepared? And we had deep fried, smoked, oven roasted, or no turkey.
Yeah. So nobody will like oven roasted apparently.
I guess not.
Nobody liked oven roasted. We had 2 votes for deep fried, which is really good. I like deep fried turkey.
Yeah.
It makes a really juicy turkey.
I've had it once, and it was prepared. It was on point.
Yeah.
Really liked it.
My father-in-law does deep fried turkeys. That's his preferred method. And they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way I do mine, which we'll get to. No turkey. No turkey at all. 4 of you people think that we got to get rid of turkey on Turkey Day.
Okay.
And then 7 votes for smoked, which is the way I prepare mine. That's what I voted for.
Okay. We did have a shout out. We got a shout out to give off of the poll. The shout out goes to Brad Burns.
Yeah.
Who put a comment on the poll that was posted to the Balls and Sticks fan page, saying that would rather have ham or prime rib.
I mean, who wouldn't want prime rib? Prime rib is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Our family has 50 people at Thanksgiving.
Okay.
To provide prime rib for all of those people, a little ridiculous.
I can imagine.
So I don't think we're ever going to get that. Now, maybe if we do it like when we're on our own and don't have anybody over, maybe just a few friends, we can do a prime rib. That sounds delicious.
Okay. So, Mike, how did you answer the poll?
Smoked.
Smoked, okay. I put smoked too, but I could have answered oven roasted because that's how Aunt Debbie, my wife's aunt, makes it. She does oven roasted, and her turkeys always come out really good every single year. But also, I could have easily have put no turkey because at Thanksgiving, we tend to have ham over on my side of the family.
Yeah, ham's a great option.
It really is.
It really is a good option.
And because my brother Josh makes a great ham.
Yeah.
He does his as a Fireball whiskey glazed ham.
That sounds delicious.
That's great.
I want some of that.
Always comes out really well.
You're invited next year to hang out with us for Turkey Day. You can even be on the show and talk about sports with us.
Yeah. So he did Fireball.
But in order to do that, you have to bring some Fireball glazed ham, because that sounds delicious.
Yeah. So this week's poll, we got to come up with it offline. It will be kind of like who won the individual matchups for kind of like tailgate food, but we now need to kind of apply like the power rankings format to those winners to determine how the bracket is going, seed them from 1-8 or 1-10, I think it was.
The committee did not meet, which is me. I did not do my job this week, so we don't have that ready to go. But
that's okay, Mike. It was a short week and a busy week.
Yeah.
Traveling and trying to wrap up everything at work, I bet. So you could take the entire week off, the back half of the week off. So that's okay. So watch for that poll to go live probably after we get done recording today around the lunch hour. All right, so Mike, who won the NFL Pick'em week this week?
Week 12? No.
Week 11, Mike.
Okay, let me get to week 11. Week 11, Midget Nation won with 9 points.
9 points, okay.
You and I tied at 8. D's Picks and Dupo both got 0.
Okay.
But you and I tied at 8.
And so the standings going into week 12, Mike.
I am at 104.
Okay.
You're at 99. Midget Nation is at 85. D's Picks, 4.
And Solomon's at 0?
Solomon's at 0.
Okay. There's still time, Solomon. Still time to play.
You could beat D's Picks if you get D's Picks in soon.
All right. So, Mike, recapping week number 11 in Turkey Day football. The Ravens beat the Bears 16-13, dropping the Bears' record to 3-7 going into their Thanksgiving game against the Lions. Mike, you're 7-3 in picking the Bears, and I'm 6-4. What were your thoughts on that Bears-Ravens game? It looked like they had a win until they didn't.
I mean, the old-fashioned line of they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory rings true in that game.
Yeah.
They had that game won, and Matt Nagy did what Matt Nagy does and leaves too much time on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And screws up. And what do the Ravens do? They win the game
with a backup quarterback. Nonetheless.
Yeah, you can't leave the defense out there that long, especially a banged up defense.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be doing something better than that, and it just wasn't happening.
So that led to rumors all week that supposedly that led to numerous chants of fire Nagy at the Bears game,
somebody posted
at the Bulls game, and at his son's high school football game.
Good on him. Fire him.
Okay, so go ahead, Mike.
So, and then Tuesday it was reported. An anonymous source told, was it Peter King?
That was somebody in the media.
It's somebody in the media that as of Thursday, immediately after the game, the Bears were going to fire Matt Nagy, win, lose, or draw. And Bears fans rejoiced. And then, the Bears didn't comment until Thursday when they made the statement, that is a ridiculous rumor. That's not happening. Matt Nagy said it wasn't going to happen, but who's going to tell Matt Nagy that it's going to happen?
Exactly. Like he did his press conference.
Yeah.
Where he addressed it all. We got to doing like the coach speak.
Yeah.
When you're coaching a losing team, we win together, we lose together. We got to play better and execute better.
Everybody's fault.
Yeah.
That's what he said. That's what he said. It's everybody's fault. No, the buck stops at you, Matt Nagy. It's your fault. We also found out that that Justin Fields has 4 cracked ribs and other injuries not disclosed that came about after X-rays and MRIs.
Yep. So he left the Ravens game, did not play on Thanksgiving, which I'm sure you knew because even if you're not a Bears or a Lions fan, you watch the Lions game on Thanksgiving.
Everybody does. What's crazier is I got family that doesn't care about sports. They're probably, some of them watch. Most of them don't because they don't care about sports.
Mm-hmm.
But you got family who don't care about sports that think they want to talk about sports, and you're like, no, you're wrong. there are family members that I have a good family that a lot of them know a lot about sports. They all follow it. They're Cubs fans. There's Bear fans. They are tuned in. They know what's going on. And then I have family who they don't pay attention, but because it's Turkey Day and they know that I love balls, that we host balls and sticks, and they get super excited about it. And the football game's on, they want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it never works out, and it's always annoying. I'm just trying to watch the game.
All right, so we'll get back to Thanksgiving. We'll circle back
Yep.
to what happened on Thanksgiving. Locks of the week. Mike, the Buccaneers came through for you as the Buccaneers won 30-10 over the New York Football Giants.
I'm realizing if I pick the Bucs, it's a good thing. If you pick the Bucs, it's not.
We'll see what happens this week.
I'm just saying.
I know. And I barely got my lock of the week as the Browns got the win over the Lions 13-10.
Yeah. How did you feel about that?
I was kind of sweating it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a tough one to see. That was a tough one.
This is the best O-and team I think I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, legit. I'm almost on par with you that they don't deserve to be in last place.
In the power rankings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done my power rankings.
They've lost, but they've lost close games.
They've lost in a good
How
way.
many kickers make a 60-plus yard field goal to win the game?
Yeah.
Just one. They've also lost games on the last possession where their defense just couldn't hold, and they get the game-winning drives.
Their losses look better than some of the Bears' wins.
They kind of do.
Some of their losses, like I don't think I would have been as upset even if the Bears lost to the Lions. I mean, I would have been upset, but I don't think it would have been as upsetting because the Lions aren't that good, are a better team than their record shows.
Okay.
So
They're fighting.
They're
fighting every week.
Yep. But your Browns pulled it off.
They did. The
This
Browns
week.
pulled it off. So
And
they're
then-
9-2 for locks. The upset special. Mike, you did not get it as the Saints lost to the Eagles 29-40. And I did not get my upset either as the Cowboys lost to the Chiefs 9-19.
Yeah.
So that drops your 5-6. I'm 4-7.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day games, we went with the Bears, the Cowboys, and the Bills. We got 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No. The Bears won 16-14. The Raiders won in overtime 36-33. And the Bills went down to New Orleans and won in a blowout 31-6.
That brings both of our records to 11-3 on the year
For Thursday night games.
for Thursday night games.
Or Thursday games in the case of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So circling back to the Bears, they got out of Detroit with a win. They did enough to get the win. 16-14. Were you worried when they were driving down the field for that final drive that something would go wrong and they would lose to the Lions?
I think I hate complaining about officiating. You know that's my least favorite thing in the world. Because it's hard enough to be an official in professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
But NFL needs to do something about their umpires, their referees.
All right, how so?
There were some terrible calls made. There have been... There are sometimes they get it right, but there have been plenty of times where they don't. And there was a delay, or there was a false start, or there was something... I don't remember if it was an offside. Guy lined up in the neutral zone on the 4-yard line at the end of the game. And it doesn't get called. That should put him half the distance to the goal. No call. Now, did they need it? No. But when it is obvious that stuff like that is happening and there's no calls, I got a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into the Ravens game or to the Raiders game where there's even more controversy about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the officiating this year has been subpar. We need to make officials. They're making enough money to call them full time. That could be your full time job. Those guys make good money. Make it a full time job. Make them accountable. Do it. That's what needs to happen.
All right. So the Bears game, is it fair to say that for whatever reason, from a quarterback perspective, just looking at how the quarterbacks are playing, that Andy Dalton has played better than Justin Fields for whatever reason?
Yes, 100%. Here's the deal. Matt Nagy doesn't know how to change his offense. Matt Nagy knows the Matt Nagy offense.
Or his version
of the Andy
Reid offense.
Yes. Now, here's the deal. The reason they went out to get Andy Dalton was because Andy Dalton is a good quarterback for the Matt Nagy offense.
And they originally brought in Matt Nagy to fix Mitch Trubisky.
Right. They brought him in
didn't work.
They brought him in to fix Mitch Trubisky. So what does he do? He says, Mitch, you need to run my offense. Well, Coach, I can't run your offense. Your offense is not designed around my skill set, says Mitch Trubisky. Well, run my offense. Not, okay, we'll make it work with you. We'll make a hybrid. No, they just make him run his offense, Matt Nagy's offense. Well, that's not going to work.
Well, it kind of worked. The Bears went 12-3, and if Cody Parkey can make a field goal and not double doink it, maybe the Mitch Trubisky and maybe Cody Parkey and the Bears season 3 years ago is viewed differently.
Yeah.
If it didn't end on a really funky fluke play. But years 2 and 3 of Matt Nagy were terrible.
Right.
And that led to Mitch Trubisky getting booted out of town and them bringing in, just moving up in the draft.
Well, no. They bring in Nick Foles.
Nick Foles, yeah.
To sit behind Mitch Trubisky to help him learn. That doesn't happen. Then
That
didn't help. Then we bring in Andy Dalton to start in front of Nick Foles, even though you have said that Nick Foles is a better quarterback. But okay, fine, we'll let that happen. And we move up in the draft to get a top 10 quarterback. A top 10 drafted quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Now, Nick Foles is buried on the depth chart.
Why did we not trade him?
Nobody wanted that contract.
Okay, we can eat some of that contract to free up space.
You could have. You would have had to convince ownership to take that.
I don't care.
Financial hit.
There's no reason for him to be sitting in the background just collecting checks to play Xbox on the sidelines.
Okay. Then
there's no reason why Justin Fields comes in when Andy Dalton gets hurt. Because what should have happened is we're playing Nick Foles. We're going to run Nick Foles. We don't care. This is the last year of his contract. Right?
I think so.
So who cares if we break his legs, break his back?
We've got a rookie that can come in and replace him if needed.
If needed. But he needs some time. Instead, we bring in Justin Fields and we break his ribs.
A couple weeks later, he breaks his legs.
We break his ribs. He's hurt. Now we got to bring Andy Dalton back in.
But Andy Dalton has played better for whatever reason.
Because Andy Dalton is the quarterback that should be that his gameplay is such that it works in a Matt Nagy offense. Justin Fields, not that type of a quarterback. Guess what? Mitch Trubisky wasn't either. These are the problems. We need Matt Nagy to be gone. I think you had the perfect guy when you called it out last week with what the Bears should be doing with that Ravens game.
Watching Greg Roman.
Let's pick up Greg Roman. I'm sure he will be able to work with Justin Fields and make him a good quarterback.
Either that, the other guy that I'd like, that I'm not seeing, because when the news broke that, Matt Nagy's going to be fired after Thanksgiving, the next round of stories that comes out is the rumors, the clip show, click here to see the different coaches, or like the list. So, who should be the next Bears quarterback? Who should be the next Bears coach? Greg Roman wasn't on the list for whatever reason.
I don't like it. I like Greg Roman.
Neither was the other guy that I think would be a good pick, Brian Doble from Buffalo.
It. Yeah.
He's done great things with Josh Allen.
But you know who's on the list?
Who's on the list, Mike?
A guy that's going to lose a football game today and get run out of Michigan.
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh.
I think Jim Harbaugh is on that list because he's a former Bear.
Right. That's half the reason. The other half is because he did a good job in the early years with
Alex Smith
and Colin Kaepernick.
And
went to the Super Bowl.
I think that was more because of the offensive coordinator that they had, Greg Roman.
Again, I think there is some truth there, and I think Greg Roman is who we need to. I think he deserves it. Do you think Bieniemy gets an interview?
I would not want to go down that well again.
Why?
Who did Matt Nagy used to work for?
That's true. Eric, yeah, he worked with Eric.
Andy Reid.
You're
going to go down that well again to see, all right, maybe not Nagy wasn't the guy, the Andy Reid disciple that we needed to hire. Maybe it's Bieniemy.
Yeah, I can see that. You're right. So, I like Roman. I do like Roman. I think great option.
Roman or Doble would be my top two picks to get that.
But
get that job.
What's going to happen? Andy Dalton's going to come in and he's going to play well again in the next game they play, and which we don't talk about this week. We don't look forward to a Bears game this week at all.
Or Justin Fields comes back and plays well those last 3 games, to where the ownership could make the decision of, hey, look, Justin Fields played better the last 3-4 weeks of the season.
Yep.
They're showing progress that Matt Nagy can make it work, and they pick up his option and he comes back for another year. And maybe it's not Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy's job is safe, but his supporting cast of offensive staff gets replaced instead.
If I go to the game and I'm thinking about Tony Phillips, turn off this podcast. Okay. I'm thinking about getting tickets to the last game of the year for the Bears versus Vikings.
And just yelling fire Nagy the entire time?
And yell fire Nagy the whole time.
I don't think that's going to work, though. It's going to take Bears ownership, though. And I could see them being the cheapskates, or like the penny pinching,
But it cost them nothing to get rid of him this year. Fine. Let him do the rest of the season so you don't have to buy him out. But it's an option. It is not a guaranteed year next year. It is not a guaranteed year next year. Why would you pick up that option?
I don't know. For everybody saying that, there was like the thing on Twitter saying, all right, it had like Ryan Pace or the owner saying, all right, or it had Ryan Day, the Ohio State coach, on like Hallis Hall on line 1 or something like that. They're not going to pay the big money to maybe get a big name coach. That's why Matt Nagy got the job, I think. For everybody that had the list, they have like Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma, Ryan Day from Ohio State,
Jim Harbaugh from Michigan.
They're not going to pay the big money that it's going to take to lure them away from their current jobs.
Michigan, I think Harbaugh's done after this year if he wants to be.
Okay.
And if they lose today, I hope they don't, but if they do, he'll get run out of town.
Because he just can't win the big one.
He can't win the big one, and he can't put a team together to make. He has two ways to keep his job. One, he makes the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Two, he
So he
beats Ohio
makes
State.
the top 4.
Right.
But to get into the top 4, he's going to have to beat Ohio State.
This year, yes. But I'm saying, if he would have been in the top 4 last year, he could have lost to Ohio State. As long as they get into the Final Four, okay, they would have picked up and extended his contract even more.
All right. So that's the Bears.
Okay.
Take it, love it, or leave it. No Bears prediction for this week when we give you our picks for week number 12. There really wasn't much to say about the Bills-Saints game.
No. I mean, the Bills did the Bills righted the ship, and they looked like the team we expect them to be.
Yep.
It's been a couple of weeks where we were questioning what their quality there,
Mm-hmm.
but they turned it around and they did what they needed to do. Looked like the team they should be.
Yep.
In a commanding way.
They sure did. They made the Saints look foolish for not having a quarterback plan behind Jameis Winston.
Speaking of which, New Orleans, there is some talk about New Orleans.
Okay.
What do you think of the contract with Taysom Hill?
It's an interesting contract. They view him as a good gadget
Yep.
type player, and they value his skill set to where they.
But if you are him, do you sign that contract? Basically, you're saying, if I win the starting quarterback role, I'm guaranteed, I think it was like $100 million. Something like that.
You get paid like a quarterback.
Right. But if you don't, you get paid like a tight end at best. And yes, tight ends' salaries have increased, but tight ends are the lowest paid skilled position in the league.
I think that's a contract you sign if you're him, because I think New Orleans values him much higher than anybody else.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get paid anywhere else, but he's also never going to win that starting job. They've proven he can't win that starting job. I mean, they're going with Jameis Winston. 30 for 30 himself. 30 interceptions and 30 touchdowns.
He did have some good games for them. He also had some bad games for them.
But you're going him over a guy that you've been grooming for 5 years now? A guy that's been in your system and should be ready to play quarterback.
But at least he doesn't have the mindset of, I want to be a quarterback or nothing else.
I totally agree. And again, he's doing great. He's making himself money. He is not he's not Colin Kaepernicking it.
He's not Tim Tebow.
He's not Tim Tebowing it. Even though Tim Tebow was willing to come back and be a tight end. If he would have done that 5 years ago, Tim Tebow's still in the league and probably making good money. Tim Tebow refused, went and played baseball, came back, tried to come back.
Yeah.
If he does what Taysom Hill does and say, okay, I'll be your gadget, I'll be your understudy for this, I will do these things.
But he's doing a lot, though. He's an H-back.
Yes.
He's lining up tight end. He's on the special teams.
Yeah. But my problem is, if you're him, like, your contract that you got looks more like a contract for a tight end. Not a halfback. Not even your special teams punt returner. You look like you're a tight end. Hey, that light just went out. That was fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, I'm sure you can still see us. It's still bright enough in here. It's just going to be a little dimmer. That's okay. Anyway, so why do you sign that contract? Exactly. You shouldn't. But he did. I mean, he's never going to win the starting quarterback, so the Saints are never going to pay out the big money for it. Because even if he deserves to be the starting quarterback,
or at least given the opportunity to be the starting quarterback.
right? But they'll never give him the opportunity. Because why would you, as ownership, why would you let him be the starting quarterback if it's going to cost you 3 times as much as what the original contract was?
But I think maybe he could have also signed the contract because he enjoys playing in New Orleans under Sean Payton.
He really does. And that's a good thing. Like, if you found where you like, and I don't think anybody else is going to pay him the tight end money that he's getting in New Orleans.
No.
So.
All right. So wrapping up Thanksgiving, Raiders over the Cowboys.
Man, I already hit the big point. The officiating in that game sucked. And that pass interference call cost us a perfect turkey day.
Yeah. I mean, even Raiders quarterback Derek Carr says, I didn't come here to play tag.
Yeah.
He's going to take the victory and walk out of Dallas with a win.
Right.
But good for him to call out and say, you know what, the game probably shouldn't have been, without saying it, the game shouldn't have been decided on that type of call.
Nope.
But you take the field goal and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Rough game, rough.
A good game, though.
Yeah.
A good game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, does this help or hurt Mike McCarthy's future in Dallas?
I don't think so, because
you don't think so. What? It doesn't hurt it or doesn't help it?
Doesn't hurt it. I don't think Jerry Jones wants to admit a mistake that he hired the wrong coach.
He never does.
He's going to let a guy run out his contract. How long did he didn't fire Jason Garrett? His contract ran up.
Speaking of which, Jason Garrett no longer in the NFL as an offensive coordinator, looking for a job. Jerry Jones is too stubborn to ever admit that he was wrong. But sometimes he needs to just get his head out of his you-know-what and do it.
The only thing that I could see happening in Dallas is that it seems like they really like Kellen Moore.
Yep.
So I could maybe see Kellen Moore getting a promotion to the head coach if too many teams come sniffing around asking to interview him, to where I could see Jerry saying, hey, we don't want you to don't go take that job. Stay here in Dallas. You're the new head coach.
Does it become the new Daniel Jones?
Does he become the
next Daniel Jones, where somebody offers him a job, he accepts it, and then
Josh McDaniels,
sorry.
To where somebody else might offer him a job, so he gives him a raise.
And then Jerry Jones says, I'll give you a raise, and you can be head coach next year, after this contract.
You can be the unofficial head coach in waiting?
Yeah. You'll be the head coach when this contract's up.
I don't know if you'll have that blunder to where you've hired your support staff, but never formally signed the contract on the dotted line. But I could see it, like the rumors coming out saying, so such and such team is going to hire Kellen Moore, and then Jerry steps in and says, hey, stay in Dallas, what's it going to take?
Yeah.
Name the dollar price that I have to give you as a raise.
Which, by the way, I think is a great idea for Jerry. Kellen Moore he will be a great head coach when he finally gets the job.
Okay.
You don't agree?
I think so.
Okay. So I think if Jerry is smart enough to make that happen, good on you.
Yeah.
That's probably the best coaching decision you will make in 20 years.
All right. So anything else from week 11?
Or the start of week 12?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right, Mike. So week 12, the lock of the week. It is an even week, so it'll be my choice to pick games first. It was tough finding locks for me. There was a lot of upsets on the docket, I think, but not too many locks.
Yeah, I found one that I like.
Okay.
What did you pick? What did you finally settle on, and how do you feel about it?
I don't feel confident with it.
Okay.
Because it's a division matchup.
Ooh, I don't like
division matchups are always tough.
My rule is I try to stay away from division matchups for locks I will look at them for upsets,
Mm-hmm.
but locks I try to stay away.
Okay. But I like the way this team is playing.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with the Chargers over the Broncos.
I actually don't. That's not a terrible one. That's probably the best one, I would say. The Broncos are not performing like everybody thought they were going to be.
Herbert's playing really well right now.
And Herbert looks like he's gunning for quarterback of the year.
I don't know about that far, but
No, he's gunning for it. I don't think he's going to win it. I think there's other people that are doing better than him. But
Okay.
he's playing in a way that says, hey, don't forget me out here.
Okay. So Mike, who do you like for your lock of the week?
I am going back to the team I picked last week to do it.
Okay.
Buccaneers over the Colts. The Colts, I still think they're suspect.
Okay.
I don't trust them. So, Bucks.
All
gonna pull it
right.
off.
It's funny that you bring up Buccaneers Colts as a lock of the week.
Yep.
Because that's where I'm going for my upset special.
Rich,
I don't.
now you understand
Yeah.
the last time this happened, the lock of the week came through.
Yeah.
Okay. And the time before that, the lock of the week came through.
I'm going with it only because it looks like that if you can put pressure on Tom Brady,
Yeah.
he doesn't perform as well.
Yep.
And they have probably one of the best running backs in football this year in Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
So they could play a ball control offense, hand the ball to the best running back, eat up the time clock, keep Tom Brady and the Bucs off the field,
Okay.
and play good defense.
I'm okay with that.
So that's why I went with the Colts over the Broncos.
Your logic is not flawed, but I think Tampa Bay finally getting their groove back. What happened last year? About this time of year, we were talking about how, man, Tampa Bay, maybe this is a mistake. Tom Brady might need to just hang it up, and then they come back and win the Super Bowl. We're sitting at the same type spot. Don't doubt Tom.
All right.
Now, my upset of the week, I feel like this one feels a little crazier because I still think Cam Newton is going to do great things in Carolina, but I still got to go with the Dolphins over the Panthers as my upset of the week.
All right. I'm not comfortable picking that one, Mike.
Sometimes you got to go out on a limb on
You
these
do.
things.
You do.
Maybe neither one of us gets our upsets this week, and that's okay.
And we'll see.
Thursday night football. We have two teams we watched yesterday playing Thursday night next week. We got the Cowboys and the Saints. Who do you like in that match?
I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Okay, I like it. That's what I'm going with as well. The Cowboys are on. They lost this week. It was a rough way to lose that game. Put it behind us. You got a full week. Most of the time when you play on Thursday night, you don't have a full week. This time they do. I like it.
Yeah, and they could have two of their biggest offensive stars coming back. Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb.
Yep. So look for that to happen. I think it's going to be great. Rich, I did not get my power rankings done this week. We're going to skip past that. Anything else in week 11 or in week 12 that you want to predict, or any head coaching decisions outside the Bears that you think is going to? Who do you think is on the hottest seat right now? I think hottest seats.
Other than
Matt Nagy.
Okay.
But that one should be on fire. His hands should be smoking by now. And if they're not, Alex Hall, you need to get your heads out of your derrieres and make a good decision.
Okay.
Do you see anybody else with a real hot seat?
Man.
I'm going to start.
Okay, go ahead.
Vic Fangio.
You know, that's the one that I originally thought of.
Okay?
I could see John Elway getting a little impatient.
But I
don't know where to go.
Again, they were supposed to have a great team this year.
But they also play in a tough division.
They play in a tough division, but they were still supposed to have a good team. And they are not I would even say they are not a good team this year.
Okay. Is there anything that the Raiders interim head coach can do to keep his job? Or does he know he's just keeping the seat warm?
I don't know what they're going to do there. The bigger problem, we need to hit that. That's what it was that I
Okay.
forgot to put on there. The St. Louis lawsuit and the
We'll get to
Gruden
that.
stuff.
We'll
We
get
got
to
to
that.
get to those. I don't think that. I think that chair has been on fire. There is no.
He's an NFL lifer by NCS.
He is.
He's been an NFL lifer, a long time head coach.
I think he can do it. I don't know though. That family, you never know what they're gonna do.
Okay.
The Davis family, you never can trust what they're gonna do. It's too hard. I think it's too hard to call. I think he has earned the right to get at least the interview. If he continues to play as well as keep that team on track the way that he's been doing.
What if the Raiders make the playoffs?
He deserves. I would say I think he deserves it. I still think the way that they're playing, the way that your coach gets taken out as quickly as he did, as ugly as he did, and you can still bring the team back together and win games. I think he still deserves it.
All right.
But I also don't trust the Davis family to do anything intelligent.
All right. Here's a name that I think could be on the hot seat if he wants to be, but it being a thing of he could leave the organization. Maybe not get fired, but leave the organization. Pete Carroll.
Yeah. I like that one.
70 years old.
It's time to retire. He let him enjoy his retirement.
Or he leaves and goes back to USC maybe.
Ooh.
And he rides off into the sunset trying to resurrect the USC program one last time.
If Pete leaves, does that spend the end of Russell's?
I think that could set off a rebuild in San Francisco and in Seattle to where Pete Carroll doesn't want to stick around for a rebuild.
Nope.
You trade Russell Wilson and get the best offer that you can of assets and picks, and you start over and you build a team around Jamal Adams and DK Metcalf.
I think that's I like that one. I don't think Seattle can't fire Pete Carroll.
No, it's going to take Pete Carroll.
If Pete Carroll
saying that,
I'm going somewhere else, or I'm just retiring. They can't fire him
because I think he is signed through like 2025.
And either way, but even beyond that, Pete has done so much for that team. He made them relevant. Yes, a lot of it had to do with Russ and with Beast Mode, but Pete Carroll made that team relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be...
Yeah, he did bridge the gap between Mike Holmgren and his era.
Yeah.
Where Seattle was kind of mediocre.
Yeah. A hot seat that has cooled off. Do you have any of those? I have one.
Go ahead.
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. Okay.
His team has played him off the hot seat. I think he's a terrible head coach. But Dallas has played so well, he's not going to be fired this year.
It helps when you have your quarterback, though.
It does. It does.
I don't think he would have gotten fired, but there would have been rumblings that changes needed to happen.
Yeah.
But maybe a team where at least you're not questioning why he's still the head coach. Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco.
Yeah,
that team is starting to turn things around and play well again.
I've heard a lot of people say they didn't think he was going to be back next year, and I think if they win out, he's back. If they play 500, he's back. A losing record, I could see the seat getting warm again. But as of right now, I agree that seat is cooled off enough that he's safe.
Okay. All right. So, Mike, you alluded that the NFL and the city of St. Louis settled their lawsuit.
Yeah, $719 million for them taking the team out of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner of the Rams said, "I'm not paying that myself. It's a league thing now.
Hmm.
So, I think it's a little crazy. Personally, I don't think that a